Welcome to the full review of the Sony Xperia Z2, which just came out a few days ago and was announced at the Mobile World Congress 2014 in Barcelona end of February. So just 2 months after it was announced, now we have the beautiful metal cased Sony Xperia Z2 in our hands, which has a 5.2 Full HD display with the HD Triluminous Display X-Reality for mobile technology. Long name, but we have also mineral glass here on the front, so this is scratch proof, quite nice. The Sony logo is not on a foil anymore that you can peel off, it's really built in here in the Sony smartphone. So 5.2 inches, it's not small, it's a little bit bigger than the old one, the Z1 with 5.1 inches or the regular Z with 5 inches. So Sony is steadily growing, but it's the first time that we have dual speakers here on the front, inside here with the Sony smartphone. And also if you just look around the device, you will see how beautiful it is, because we have a metal case, as you can see here, which we already have seen design wise at the Z1 or the Z1 Compact. If you open up just here this little panel, you can see that we have here the SIM card slot, which is micro SIM, and also the micro USB for charging. But you don't even need to open this up if you want to charge it, since if you just buy a docking station here, you have a magnetic dock with which one you can just easily charge your phone. Then also here on the side still we have the possibility to just use the wristband. On the bottom we have the microphones here, which are really waterproof as the smartphone itself, but you can just really take it out of the water and take a phone call. It will work quite nicely. Dedicated camera button, still a thing that Samsung, HTC and also LG are missing. Also here volume rocker, on and off switch, which you don't even need anymore, since with double tap you can also turn on the device. Then also micro SD card reader, which supports up to 128 gigs micro SD XC cards. Also easy to just open up, but usually you only do it once and then you close it up again, and then you're all set for shooting 4K videos, which you can with the 20.7 megapixel camera, underwater, above water, wherever you want. But we only have one LED flash on the back, so low light pictures will be alright, but maybe not as good as with an HTC, Samsung or an Apple iPhone, which have actually 2 LEDs. Then here NFC, of course, Sony logo. I think the back is only plastic, not glass, but also kind of scratch proof, I would say. On the white one you won't see any fingerprints or anything, on the black one maybe a little bit more, but also there is a purple version available, as you can see here on the box. Of course Xperia, and on the top a completely open 3.5mm headphone jack, which supports 5 poles, which means that inside the box we actually have here a headset, in-ear headset that supports active noise cancellation with the smartphone or with the Z2 tablet. And also there is a gadget called the ST-NM10, which is a stereo microphone which you can put right here on the top and record interviews or anything like that for only $30. So that's also quite awesome. Also here another microphone on top, so the noise cancellation will be even better. There is no infrared inside, which is a little bit sad. I thought at the beginning it will have it, since all the others do, like for example the HTC One M8, which we will compare in the end of the video, and the Samsung Galaxy S5 have that also. But for example the Apple iPhone still has that missing, but the iPhone doesn't even have NFC, which Sony has for years. And also the G2 will be also in the comparison at the end, since there's no G3 available yet. But since you were able to see with the double tap that it's quite easy to wake up, let's actually do that. And you can see here right now we can just really unlock it quite easily. I forgot to change the settings to English, but you can see how fast that can actually go here by just clicking here through menus. I'm sorry. So here we go. And while that is actually set up, you can see that we have also a front camera which has 2 megapixels, shoots also full HD videos, not a 4K like in the back, but has an 8x digital zoom and a 3x optical zoom, which is quite interesting for a front camera. The back actually 27mm wide angle, so that's about that. So software wise, you can see that it looks like the Sony smartphone still now. We have the Snapdragon 801 processor inside with 3 gigs of RAM, which means the fastest processor in the world is right now in here, also for gaming. But you can see that Android 4.4.2 is running right now, which means that if I just go here back to the shortcut settings, about phone, you can see here that we have KitKat 4.4.2 running, which allows us, for example, to show the battery percentage inside the battery icon. But there's also a few cool options, like for example here in the personalization, where you can just completely remove here the icons, for example no battery icon, and so on and so on. But there's more tips and tricks like that in my tips and tricks video, which you should check out actually here in my YouTube channel. So just go here in the description and check out the link, or of course leave a subscription. So my review about the Sony starts with music. It's a very, of course, common feature for Sony devices to be good music players. Now Sony's back on track again with the dual speakers, as I already mentioned. Let's just play a song at maximum volume. 2 speakers. Like for example HTC has also with boom sound. Sounds quite good, but not as loud as HTC. Now what's also cool is, since I'm in the Wi-Fi and is a DLNA enabled device, and also has Wi-Fi A, B, G, N and AC, we can also just here use the throw feature to, for example, throw it to a DLNA device like my Sonos Play 5. I don't have a Sonos app installed, I just have to hit here the button and connect it, and now it's playing right here behind me on the Sonos. We can hear how it sounds different, of course different sound quality. It's a $500 speaker, but quite awesome to just always have this throw feature right there, which can enable, disable, also send to your TV music, pictures and everything. That's quite cool if you're in a Wi-Fi where you have such kind of devices. Like for example, you can also check out my underwater video here from yesterday at night, where I was just swimming around, as you can see here, and that actually shows you guys that the phone is really waterproof. It was recorded with this phone, so I won't put it inside or just splash water over it now, since you can really see it recorded underwater video. But it not only can record, but you can also, since there's a quite fast processor inside, edit your video with the Movie Creator app. You have seen the icon on the top, where you can just here, for example, set your time. I can say I want to set the speed. Here in the beginning it should be a little bit slower, 1/8 of the speed, and then I can just hit play and see in 4K, this is actually a 4K video, how my result would be, how this guy is, for example, turning around quite perfectly underwater, and how to swim, for example. But of course this works underwater, above water, underwater, just anywhere where you want, and it's a quite cool feature there I am coming. But actually here the full footage of this 4K video is available on YouTube in my YouTube channel, so check out that full coverage. You can also, as I said, trim and save, share and undo, redo, revert and so on, or just go back and maybe say throw, and then you can just check out the 4K video on your 4K TV or just your full HD TV, but still it looks quite beautiful. Now of course the camera not only shoots 4K video, but also has a really beautiful front camera. As I said before, I have here right now a little hat on which says, as you can read, I love haters. And this is really a nice full HD camera, wide angle, beautiful pictures you can shoot with this one. I did a comparison video with the other smartphones already, so check out those comparisons also. And here are some of the examples what kind of pictures you can actually shoot with the back camera. I just did that in my German review outside with these flowers in the background, but I was sitting outside, and look how just amazing the 20.7 megapixel pictures are. So if you don't believe me that I shot it with this, no problem, I just hit the camera here, hold it like this, switch to the back camera, like that, and bam, here we go. So right now the focus was on the back, but I can just say, okay, I want the flowers in the focus, and here we go. But if you just want to really take a snapshot real quick of something, hold the camera button and you will be able to shoot your pictures right away. And here you can see the result, same beautiful picture of the flowers with 20.7 megapixels. You can just really print this in poster size if you want, will look quite good. Same goes for 4K videos, looks quite amazing as you're able to see, but I can also show you something quite nice here. I was grilling yesterday and only in full HD, the results look also quite nice. There you go. You can hear how good this sounds, and it probably also tastes quite good. And you can also zoom in during the video quite easily, as you can see here. So especially in 4K, this will look quite cool to just zoom in and out, and you still see on the full HD screen everything quite nicely. Focus is also quite quick, but all these videos you will find in my YouTube channel. So let's just go through a few other features, like for example, of course the camera has a few extra features, not only just the Xperia auto mode, but also here the manual. You can shoot directly wine videos. You have, for example, panorama feature, which is smarter than on the Samsung Galaxy S5, since you can't only shoot panoramas like this, but also up and down, which, for example, Samsung doesn't allow. But it's quite cool if I was in New York, for example, to just shoot a skyscraper up and down, and it's also a quite nice view. There's all kinds of apps installed by Sony, but actually most apps are not that new. As you can see here, in Germany we have the Garmin Xperia Edition navigation, for example, also inside. Sketch is also not that new, or the Xperia launch. But what I want to show you is here this What's New app, because that's quite new. And it's pre-installed with a widget, but you can always access it by holding the home button and not going to Google Now, but to going here to the What's New section, where you can see new music, new movies, and of course also new games, for example, since Sony produces all of these. As you can see, music, movies, games, apps and PlayStation games are the categories that you can choose from for recommendations on apps, games and more. I already told you about the noise cancellation. It can be that you have to activate it, which you should definitely do under sound. Oops, I hit the wrong button. Sound and audio accessories. Here you can see the noise cancellation headset and the STM10. But what's also quite important is, I think, the power management on this phone is amazing. We are in the Wi-Fi right now, no 3G or 4G connections, but it tells me I have 13 days and 17 hours left if I will use it like this for the future. You can see it if I do battery usage. I did a few reviews and videos today. The screen is the main reason the battery is draining right now, since we have maximum brightness. But you can set it up with stamina mode, so it should use less power, especially if I tell it to use, for example, some apps still in the background. Like for example, if I have the phone in my pocket, it will usually turn off the 3G or data, or just go to the to Edge, since that needs less power to just check the email, doesn't have to download it. But I can also set it up to check my Facebook messages, my Hangouts, my WhatsApp messages and so on in the background, but none of the other apps should check everything online. Like for example, Foursquare needs sometimes a lot of power, and other apps like that. This is quite handy, so I can just restrict that. And also you can queue background data, so it doesn't check it every minute, but every 5 to 50 minutes maybe, or something like that. You can set up the time, but that's also quite handy for power management. And the low battery mode, also quite perfect if you're on the go a lot, and at night maybe you haven't seen or checked your phone quite a lot and haven't checked that the battery is quite low. You can tell the phone that automatically at 10%, at 40%, or at 1%, or whatever percent you want to put in here. It should turn off your mobile data, for example. It should turn off your GPS, and everything here in the list you can set to turn on or off. So you can see battery life is good, camera is good, the phone has a big, bright, beautiful screen. It's not that light, 158 grams, but only 8.2 millimeters thick, made out of metal, is quite good in your hand. The sound is good on the speakers. They have amazing in-ears inside with active noise cancellation, which no other company does. So what's the drawback on the Sony smartphone? One thing is that other companies do have is an infrared blaster, so you cannot control your TV or your receiver or anything like that with the smartphone right now. Maybe in the future, if they have some adapter or something like that, that could happen, or you can just use your app. There is Wi-Fi apps. If you have a smart TV, that shouldn't be a problem. But shooting underwater videos, unlimited time, 4K is quite cool, I think, especially in the summer. The processor is really fast. It has every connectivity inside that's available out there right now: Bluetooth, 8 GPS, Wi-Fi, HDMI over MHL, LTE, and so on and so on. So that's really quite amazing. The colors are good, I think. Cases and such are available a little bit more widely now by Sony. So let's just see what the size comparison is with other phones, like for example the Samsung Galaxy S5, which also has a 5.1 inch screen, not 5.2 like the Sony has. So not as big, but a little bit. But the device is also a little bit smaller, as you can see here. Screens on both the same, in thickness the same. They are both waterproof. With Samsung you can take off the back cover and you have this rubberish back cover, but I had a little bit of problems here with my waterproofness, since there still went some water inside and I had to well, wait a whole day so it is usable again. Otherwise, here the beautiful HTC One M8 with 5-inch screen, full HD. Of course, all of these devices is not as thick, but it has a 2600 milliamp battery, and the Sony actually 3200, and the Samsung had 2800. So in height they are actually about the same, but of course both have the boom sound, both have the double tapping to wake up. If that works, actually it works as it does on Sony, but you have to turn it on, which I show you guys in my tips and tricks video. Both other smartphones I showed you right now have an ER blaster. Sony doesn't, but that's the only drawback, as I said. And then we have here the Apple iPhone 5S, which is of course 4 inches, not 5.2 inches, so it's smaller. But in thickness, or it's about the same. Of course, all metal also, but here also on the back, not glass like here. Now the LG G3 hasn't come out yet, but still one of my favorites is the G2 with the 5.2 inch screen, which is amazingly big compared to the size of the phone. No other company has done that yet, to put that big screen in this small phone. But in thickness, 3000 against 3200 milliamps, you can see here they are about the same. This is made out of plastic, a little bit lighter, has all the buttons on the back, and also has this double tap feature, but also has the ER blaster for only 300 bucks right now, but it's almost a 9 months old device compared to the Sony Xperia Z2, which just came out and is also waterproof. So thank you much for tuning in. My name is Balazs. Oh, and this has a microSD slot, and the LG doesn't. The other two, Samsung and HTC, do have that. Thank you much for tuning in. This was my full review of the Sony Xperia Z2 smartphone. There's of course a lot of features that we have already seen by Sony, like for example here the extra buttons on the bottom, or the extra widgets that you could choose, for example, for screen capturing and so on. But I won't show you that, since that's not that new. So check out my other videos, reviews, hands-ons, underwater testings, and also auto display tests with the Sony Xperia Z2. Thank you much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. And my name is Balazs with NDevil TV.